We are talking to candidates for Batavia City Council at large, and our candidates talking with us this morning are Sara Burk-Balbi and Marianne Clattenburg. And I'd like to bring up this question of consolidation of city and town. Just last night at the council meeting, our city council president expressed the opinion that the consolidation is just dead in the water because council members, he said, tabled the issue indefinitely, and Mr. Mallow, Charlie Mallow, the council president, said in his opinion that the issue was dead. Another council member, Kathy Briggs, says no, it's not. It'll be brought back. Well, to you, Marianne, first, will this issue be brought back, and would you vote in favor of at least proceeding to the joint commission step? And then for you, Sara, it would be, should you be elected, would you do that? And we'll start with Marianne.
I don't think it's dead. I think that for whatever reason, certain people decided that they wanted this tabled, particularly till after the election. So I do think it will come up. I mean, there's enough support for even a shared services model, which to me is almost the full step to consolidation. I guess my question is if we're going to share all the government services, why wouldn't we share the governmental entity that distributes those services? So. I think that this is something that has future implications. I don't know if it's going to be something that happens right away, if it happens in little steps, but I definitely support having a commission where we have town and city people sit down and say, where are the areas that we could consolidate? How would this look if we consolidated all the way? And get the public input and let the public vote. And I don't think it's dead. I think it will come back.
Sara, your thoughts on that? Is it a dead issue?
No, I don't. I definitely don't think it's a dead issue. I agree with the consolidation, but with the way they had it laid out, I just don't think it was that appealing for the town. And with that being said, I think the city needs to work harder to get their services and their budget issues back in line so that we do look more appeasing to the town. So like I said, am I in favor of it? Yes. Do I think this was the right time for it? No.
Howard Owens, publisher of the Batavian. Next question.
Great. Thank you, Dan. Sam Barone recently brought up again the issue of trash and how to pay for it. The current system has, it's a tax that is spread across the city. Nonprofits don't pay it. You might live in a residence where you produce more trash and your neighbor who produces less could have a higher valuation on their property and be paying more. Some people think this is unfair. Options that have been thrown out are a fee, a per bag fee, a per tag fee, have your garbage tagged. Which of these options do you think the city should take a serious look at? Marianne, why don't you start with this one?
Well, this has been brought before council many times in the past, and it has been looked at. Definitely not pay per bag, because I just think that would be a disaster. I think we would have garbage everywhere, especially in our parks, our vacant land. I just don't think that's feasible. Having said that, I don't support at this time a change in the way we structure garbage delivery. I know that it's based on something that they say is fair, but I don't see how my garbage should be the same as somebody who's maybe on a fixed income, living on one Social Security check and living in a house that's worth, half of where I live. So I think if you want to have a fair society, you have a just society. So I favor keeping it the way it is. And this is something that Councilperson Barone brought up. He had a majority of council agree to have at least looked into and presented to us. So Jason Molino is going to present us with some options as to how other communities do it, and I will have an open mind when I see it. But as it stands now, I don't favor the idea of changing the way we do garbage.
There's a good number of nonprofit properties in the city that they don't pay taxes, so they're not paying for garbage collection. Do you think that should be changed?
Well, they pay. Most of them pay a payment in lieu of taxes fee, which is a pilot fee. So I would be for looking at pilot fees and to see if we could, more equitably distribute the cost along those lines. But then again, we have businesses that we assess first in our tax bill, and they have dumpsters, but yet they're paying the portion of garbage fee in their taxes. So, there are different ways to look at this, and so if you just take that all out, who comes out on top and who comes out on the bottom of the garbage situation is yet to be seen.
Sarah?
To be fun, it's kind of funny because I'm sitting here and shaking my head. I'm actually agreeing with everything that she's saying. You know, I've been speaking with a couple of people, and I know, like, one of the issues that I'm really worried about is that I don't want those senior citizens who are on those fixed incomes that only get a certain amount of money each month worried about being taken out of their apartments or out of their homes over their garbage. And then on top of that, we've got those great employees at ARC that's been working really hard for us for all these years that really do deserve those jobs. So is it worth a look at? Yes. If I were to get elected, would I look at it? Yes. Am I necessarily all for it right now? No, because like I said, there are other individuals that would be greatly impacted by that.
Probably a good place to bring up once again that both Sara and Marianne are candidates for Batavia City Council at large, but not necessarily running head-to-head. There are 6 candidates, and the top 3 vote-getters are elected. So it's possible that both Marianne and Sara could be elected in November. I want to move on to city finances. And there was an audit report came out a month or so ago, clearly showing that the city's financial condition much better than it was 3 years ago. But it came at a cost. Some very substantial tax increases. The first year, double digits. Second year, almost that much. Layoffs. Some City Hall administrators gone. Rank and file city employees gone. And again, the hefty tax increase. Did the city and its management team manage its way out of the financial deficit or tax its way out of it? Marianne?
Well, to be honest, I mean, everybody would have to agree that it probably was a little bit of both. We had to raise taxes to cover the expenses that we were incurring, and at the same time, we had to look for ways to manage the expenses on the other end so that from now on, we won't have to do something like that. Having said that, I know in prior years, when there probably should have been tax increases, there weren't. And there weren't cuts that needed to be made. And we let the ambulance go on much longer than we should have at a cost of, we lost $1 million that we're still going to have to write off on the general fund. We took money out of water funds, sewer funds to put into the general fund expenses. And so, that all had to be squared away, given that Jason Molino has given us the course that we need to follow, and we're trying to do that now. And we're trying to put money into contingencies. We're not having to borrow. When I first got on council, we were borrowing over $1 million a year just to pay the salaries of the people that were working. We're not doing that anymore. We're in the black. But we need to have a fund balance that can sustain us in case we have a major water line break or a building that needs to be refurbished, the police department or the fire department, whatever we need to cover our expenses. We can't keep living on borrowed money. So, you have to pay for what you get. And now that we're on the right track, I think we're doing what we can.